Hello. Welcome, beautiful souls. Namaste. Namaste. So, welcome to my tarot chat today. And it's lovely to be here. This is a new time for my channel. And my intention is to be broadcasting at this time regularly on Saturdays. So, welcome. My name is Sadhana. I'm a tarot reader and a healer. And really, this whole topic of self-awareness and healing is just absolutely fascinating to me. And my lifelong journey with the tarot is one that is ever evolving, and I have committed to 2024 being a year of a dive into the Marseille tarot. And I'm beginning this year looking at and contrasting contemporary decks with older decks. And I am also wanting to compare contemporary pip decks as well too, so we can get a really good feeling for just the kind of the old school way of reading tarot. Welcome, hello to Jen, Patchwork Tarot, and Ramon, Moon Scarab, and welcome to Shonda, Samara's Soul Scribe. Lovely to have you here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this discussion today about the suit of cups and the suit of hearts, the suit of love and feelings and flow and emotion and all that it represents. Hello to Mary Beth, namaste. I have quite a few decks on the table today, and let me just see if I can get rid of that watermark. I don't know why that's there. Let's see if that'll disappear. There we go. Yeah, so last couple of weeks we were looking at wands, and these are just initial broad strokes. We will get into the details of the meanings of aces through 10 and have a really good look at that eventually, and then some weeks down the road we'll get into the majors. But this is a really incredible suit, and I suppose I should comment on the Ace of Hearts and the Ace of Cups in my little new one as well too. The cute deck. Pip speak. I would like to say something about this one, and perhaps next week I'll show more of the smaller decks. But I did want to comment on this right off the bat. So let's just start. Water. What is this? What is contained within this vessel? Good evening, Dee. Namaste. And we have quite a contrast of Ace of Cups cards, in that sometimes the water flows, most often in Waite-Smith inspired decks. We have flowy water. Rarely in Marseille is the cup uncovered. And once in a while we have quite unique interpretations, like Zara did in the Pipspeak Ace of Cups. And so I think there's a few things right off the top we should talk about, and that is your sense of containment versus the flow, the overflowing energy of water, if it is water indeed. So I've just been reading some amazing articles, chapters I suppose I should call them, and this, which led me down another rabbit hole, and I'm thinking I'm going to gosh, so many rabbit holes. Somatic yoga. Those of you who have been following my breath series, and believe me, this is connected, so I'm not just going down a rabbit hole here. I said that I'm going to follow through and carry on with a mindful movement series, a very gentle yogic practice where you breathe and move. You breathe and move, starting very simple. Things that you can do in a chair, things you can do in bed. And this sort of practice is often referred to as somatic yoga. And it's really interesting because I was watching some yoga instructors and they don't guide it. It's like breathe, but the timing of the breath and the movement isn't there. And so anyway, where this comes back to is the discussion of what is in the cup. Is it water? Is it wine? Is it blood? Is it soma? What does the water represent? Water is life. Water flows. Water. It's the element of the second chakra. Water is this element that wants to move. It can carve stone. It is something that flows through our organs and our body. It's contained within the blood, right? It's this this is a really, really mysterious suit. I just want to say that. It's really complex, and I think that this suit doesn't get taken seriously enough as far as what this means. What this means, because water flows through everything. I tend to agree with you, Jennifer, because it's more about the cuteness of the deck than the quality of this really important card. And that's why I put it out here today. And I think this, if I were to say, this is the only card in this deck that I don't really like. I wish she had done it differently, or there was an alternate one, a little less cute. There is something holy in every way, sacred, so sacred about this. And I think about the chalice and the sacred feminine and the womb. And as I mentioned, the waters of the sacral chakra, the waters of life, the waters that we are born into this world. And this necessity for healthiness, for wellness, to keep water flowing. So why in the Tarot de Marseille is the water contained? We have two cards where the water is contained in this suit. One is the Queen, and usually just the Queen and the Ace. And to me, with the lid on, there's a reverence for what is held within. Ooh, let's go to Dee's comment here. The Ace of Cups is made to hold, but is not held. It is transformational container, and the mystery is held within. So this particular suit, the mystery of this suit, leads us into the High Priestess card, into all of the any cards where you have lunar associations, including the moon itself. We look at the flow of cycles, the flow of life, the lunar cycle, the blood lunar cycle in the feminine body, the cycle of the general flow of life. And I think we can, for the most part, look at these cards and get an indication and a reading of how life is flowing. What is the intention of this? The pure potential of the suit, hello Saskia, Kalispera, is contained within the Ace. So the pure potential, let's say the greatness of our waters, the greatness, the blessing of the Divine Mother is contained within this card, whereas the blessing and the pure potential of the Great Father, the Divine Father, is contained within the Ace of Wands. That's how I would compare these two cards. And together they are better, and together they create something quite extraordinary. So this is Lily White by Celia Mansfield. I absolutely love the exuberance of the water here. And in Lori LePage's deck, which is this one here, so this is the Tarot de Ozar, I feel like the water, it's almost like I'm beginning to sense some movement within this card. And Lori colors it red. And I really think we need to think about the color red, which is not one that many tarot readers would associate with the element of water. But yes, I am live. Hello, Karina. But historically, blood and the color red are also connected. So, you know, orange, right? Red is within orange of the second chakra. Blood, this is, like I said, this is where we're born. There's a connection to something quite primal here. And so let's not forget that. Also the Holy Sacrament as well, too, if you look at Catholic Church associations. And I believe there are other rituals where blood, the sect of Isis. There are other traditions and rituals where blood is contained within the cup. Blood. And just the fact that wine and blood and water are really synonymous with one another. Right? This is my blood you drink. I love this card. One thing I always ask a querent when this card arises is, what is your holy grail? And it's kind of a weird question that blows people away. And, you know, they often don't, sometimes it stumps people out. Like, what is it that you would like to reveal or to know in this life? And in a way, with a bit of red color, it connects very much to the union with the fire card as well. And in Rosario's, this is Rosario's deck, the new choice, Tarot de Marseille. When I look at this card, I feel like this is more of a, what would you call it? Like what do you call the containers that you would put cremated remains in? You know, like it's just up on the altar. It's still, it's there. It's there's, the energy is not being emitted from it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. An urn. Okay. So there's a vibration to this card. There's a vibration, and I feel it very much alive. This one has always been a little bit odd to me. It's almost like the cup, you know how this particular suit in the Wild Unknown Tarot has ducks in it, ducks and swans and things like that. It's almost like I see the fur or the feathers on this cup. I just think there's something about that is odd, but what I do like is the light that is emanating from the cup, and I love that the cup is simple. And that reminds me of, you know, of course, here we go, movie reference, that final scene in the third Indiana Jones movie where he goes in and he chooses the cup. Well, which cup does he choose? He chooses the least ornate cup. Yeah, and there's something that feels very, very fitting here. What do you hold sacred? What is there a layer perhaps too of protection of the sacred energy of this with the lid on? Thank you for that, Dee. Now, if I go back, and it's amazing the things you've shared. If we go back through these cards and those amazing intellectuals who have examined the tarot, I know that as well there are, yes, the church had tremendous sway over the population, and yet there is other there's hints of other esoteric applications as well within. And over time, I know that a lot of these will make more sense and become clearer. And something that came up this week. Let's look at the twos, and I'm going to share this with you. Oh. And also the idea that, that there's something about all being contained within this goblet. And I think that the Trionfi della Luna does a wonderful, wonderful job with this card. I am going to, and there was a video that I saw this week, and it was about do not use Waite Smith RWS as your first deck. It is not a beginner deck. I totally agree, depending on how you are approaching it. That's why I teach it the way I teach it. But this conversation with this reader who put out this video also mentioned about intuitive readers and different kinds of readers. And I really, really appreciate some of the things that he said, because I often call myself an intuitive reader, and what that means to me and how other people interpret that word is very different. And when I call myself an intuitive reader, that to me, that means that from the foundation of all that I have studied and practiced, I allow a component of trust to flow through me. It does not mean that I just read the cards like they are pictures. So this also, one of you mentioned another video that I did about intuitive readings and intuitive decks. I'm going to go back and readdress this. There is something very fundamental about these cards and the way that the cards are arranged, and as well as the artistic license that some creators take with the shape and the deviation from the Tarot de Marseille, and yet still sort of these cards are referred to as Tarot de Marseille. I want to have a little bit of leniency with that and look at the energy of two. Look at the energy of two as two. So if we, hello Perry, if we look at the it's not the paradoxical, the Trionfi della Luna, there is a thick green cord plant between the two cups that speaks so beautifully to this concept of two's dualism and separation, which is very different from the two you see in the lily white, where they are connected and the waters flow together. And then the two in the Tarot de Ozar, where it's like they stand upon one another. they flow in and out of each other or something like that. And then in Rosario's deck, we see it has more of the feminine floral energy. And it's really quite extraordinary without a picture how much we can read into the cards. There is a heart indicating blood, life force energy. There's red in this card. We see these two cups feeding a rose, and we all know, rose is a symbol for Mary. Rose is a strong feminine symbol. It's a symbol of Venus. And as well, within the Trompe della Luna, we have a bit of a heart shape going on here. And I'm starting to think, wow, okay, this red thing, this blood, the connotations of blood and how we need it to be alive and life force. Maybe there's more to this. Maybe there's much more to this than I've been reading. Sorry. Laura. Laura's here? Oh, hi, Laura. Welcome. Okay. So you all know that I'm a yogi. I teach, I practice, I live yoga. Prana, life force energy, can be moved by, usually it's moved by air. It can be moved in different pressures in the body, and life force, I think, is like prana, chi, is overgeneralized in the English language. It is not the elements. It is moved by the elements. And I feel like maybe I should be giving more credit to this suit for the potential of moving that energy. Twos in the Tarot de Marseille have a more feminine quality, a right brain receptive energy. And so the one that really sticks out here is the Trompe della Luna, where we have that defined border between the two cups. And I just think that warrants, and it provides for a great discussion. I just thought of something else. I'm going to have a mess on the table. Let's do... So what I was thinking about there in that moment was when the ace separates into the two, often in the tarot, the two look identical. And wouldn't it be cool if all of the twos, we could see the subtle differences between the two cups, the nuances between the cups. I'm just thinking that. And then the third cup, as we come into what is the product of the two, actually has a, nothing major, but there's a subtle nuance that this is the product of the cup. Something like that. Okay, let's go here. there is a larger divider between the cups and the Pipspeak Tarot as well. Okay. Sorry, Jennifer, I just have a lot of decks on the table, and I had this. Oh, it's right here. Okay, yeah, you're right. All right. Okay. And so here is another issue, another factor in reading. And that is, we all come to the tarot from different experience. Some of us have studied Jungian psychology at depth. Some of us have studied chakra psychology at depth. Some of us come through, I don't know, like lots of different experiences. There's so many amazing, like perhaps through the I Ching, or many ways lenses we can come through the concept of numbers and the building of energy. And so when we are in, I know we're looking at the number 3, but I'm amazed how diverse the interpretation of 2 is actually. It's really been quite simple for me previously, but I'm certainly open. Like I know Jodorowsky talks about the 2s as accumulation, not separation. So throughout this process, I want to be open to possibilities here. Now, there's something common that all of these cards here have in common. And there is a sort of a life force energy between the 2 cups on the bottom that sort of comes up and frames the cup overhead. It's really incredibly consistent in that way. Like it's a mirror image of the cups. So the cups form an upward facing triangle, and the greens and the leaves sort of form the energy coming down. So it's like there's a relationship between the greenery and the cups. Are the cups full? Are the cups empty? You know, this is something that it's really nice. I don't think we have to even discuss here, which is, you know, when we're looking at Waite-Smith inspired decks, we're often looking at cups that are spilt, cups that are full, cups that are cracked. And that's not what we're looking at here. There's this beautiful simplicity and harmony to these cards. And I think we can learn so much by paring all of this down. Another thing here too with this 3, I really like that expression, the shoulders upon which we stand. You know, I think about that when I'm kind of getting really reverent about studying tarot and how little I know. And I like that this card reflects that, you know, that the child stands upon, floats above the parents, whatever it is that we are creating, emotionally expanding into, energetically. I want to use the word energy here as well too. And I don't want to lose that that kind of terminology for talking about the suit of water, because of all the suits, you know, it's the one that we can watch the flow of energy, right? We can see what the air is affecting in the Suit of Swords. Oh, and another thing. Okay, so this is important. I will eventually bring out some Spanish decks, and many of you will be aware that the Suit of Cups in many of the decks from the Iberian Peninsula, this suit is the element of air. So the Suit of Cups was not assigned to the emotional. That went into the chaos of the Suit of Swords. So I will dedicate some time to talking about that. I just wanted to put that out there because if you have any of those decks, shoot me a reminder a few weeks down the road, and we will definitely look at that. Okay. Ace 2. I mean, there are some great ones. I did have the Lumina out a few weeks ago, and I'm going to go back to sort of weave my way back because I wanted to talk about something with this. I love the ornateness of this goblet, which is completely contradictory to what I said about the simplicity of the goblet in the Wild Unknown Tarot. I also like the reminder of the intuitive energy. Here we have a downward facing triangle that is full of rainbow energy. Love the idea of the circle, the continuity. I think this is a great, really great Ace of Cups. And what I did want to mention was that in this Two of Cups, we have this, not the idea of dualism and separation, but I feel like we have more of a mirror quality. And something that this card offers is that subtle difference. You know, it's not, we're not both pink, we're not both orange. We are unique. So we are both a mirror reflection, and we are both unique. And I like that. I like that in this card. And this one is really kind of clever. I like the building, or the varying sizes of the cups. So it's surprising in many Waite-Smith inspired decks how there are a few pip cards thank you for that, Dee. The increasing cups holds more energy. They don't dilute the energy. It grows and grows. Yeah. So this thought. If a deck creator is making a Waite-Smith deck, and both in the Wild Unknown, the Lumina, the Lily White. Now, Lily White, Sally Mailsville is in France, and so heavily influenced by Tarot de Marseille. Does a really good job of it in the Pentacle suit. What's with this wishy-washy flipping between trying to look like Waite-Smith and then deciding, okay, this one's better, looking like Marseille? I think that's where people get messed up. You know, either I find it's difficult, because here, now granted, in the Lumina, we are looking at a reflection, we are looking at a reflection. The cups are not all stacked in the same direction. So it is a different, it's a different feeling. Because the 4 is, all of the 4s have this structure, right? The square, the building energy is really strong. And there's a lot of language around the 4s, but this card is the basis for many other cards. And I don't know if we'll get into any of the Euclidean geometry cards this year, but it might be kind of fun to do that. But right, so this shape is the basis of the 7. The 4 plus the 3 is the 7, and we see that in those kind of decks. And so this is a really important shape. And I think in a reading, regardless of the suit, like this is the foot, right? Yeah, and the pink. Oh my goodness. Okay. So this is, for me, this is bordering on a little too much artistic license, like the Ace of Cups in the Pipspeak. So yeah, it looks like there's a river flowing between the 2 cups. And so the 4 cups would signify the river bank. And let's just see what you said here. So if the 4 cups are 2 sides of the river bank and the blue is a river, then this is really interesting to think about what the river bank represents, because I know I've done some like deep metaphorical, read some deep pieces about riverbank and river, and I know in yoga we've talked about that before, and the stability of the bank and all that kind of stuff. The river, so the symbol of the river. Now I don't know if Lori LePage, where she would go with this, but the rivers are sacred all over the world. They contain the energy of the goddess. And so 4 of Cups, I'm thinking here we have like, I suppose, now this is an even number. It's not an odd number, but 4 is stability. It's like there's a container, and yet the goddess still flows here. So there's a lot of artistic license in this card, and it's beautiful. And maybe that makes it easier to read. Yeah. Laura says, yeah, so it is. That's why Pagan Otherworlds is, I mean, it's an amazing deck. And if you have a bit of experience, you can read it, but it flips and it flops. And we were looking at some of the Wands cards last week, and they don't maintain the shape of the wands of the Tarot de Marseille, so it really isn't. Yeah. Anyway, these are all just thoughts, things I want to share, and I love this kind of conversation. Yeah. And you know, Jennifer, as soon as I read that, I think about when there is a major shift of energy, and how sometimes rivers change direction and they carve a new path. I did a deep dive with a tarot card called the tarot deck called the Chemonet or the Chemonet Tarot. And one of the things that Eden Gallanter says, I think it's her in the introduction to that suit, is she talks about this suit and she says, the Suit of Cups is our response to this element, be it raindrop, puddle, waterfall, or tsunami. And I really like that. I really like that. Abundance of new life in the wetlands of the river. Ooh, that's nice, Perry. Thank you. Five is such a important shape energetically. It is the first shape that, with the pentagram and the 4 elements connecting us to the 5th element, it's the first shape that connects us to the 5th element, to spirit. There's something about these cards, the 5 of water, the 5 of feelings, the 5 of emotion, that taps deeply into spirit, that taps deeply into something greater than us. When I look at this card, not in the lumina, this is the lumina here, and I want to talk about the shape of the pentagon. I almost see this card like the beginning of if the 4 is the base and the 5, it's like that 5th cup sits on top of the 4. I don't know if you can sense that or feel that in this card. That central cup is full of growth and full of life. And I do like how Lori colored it different. It has, to me, this card has always had a 3-dimensional quality. It's almost like a revisiting of the ace, like these 4 cups support the 5th one that rises up and is being offered. And so 5s, as you know, right? They take us through growth. They take us through change. They ask us to connect with something a little deeper. And there's a few reasons why while this is not in a classic Tarot de Marseille shape, it works in that, it's a circle and it reflects the change, and it has that energy of the pentagram. And if a tarot deck is not using illustrations, it's really, really nice to see the shape of the pentagram in all of the 5s. The cups in Tarot de Marseille feel like a safe haven to me, containers of emotions and soul. I can choose to share my cup or hold onto my essence for a little longer. I like that word, essence. Yes. So here we go back. Is essence, just when you say essence, are you referring to a intangible life force energy that there is? You see, this is where we get too delineated in defining the suits. Fire is the life force energy. Oh no, it's the air, it's the prana of the swords. And this is what I was saying earlier. It's that it's the elements that move this essence. Yeah, the spirit of all things. So I think these cards can be highly mysterious, and you know, they're not simple. While this is a 5, and this is the element, this is the suit of cups, and this is 5 plus water. It's also extremely subtle. Now, what if I asked you this question? What is the most subtle? Hi, Tina. What is the most subtle suit? Is that even can I ask you that question? What is the most subtle energy of the 4? Which suit? I'm not, I don't even know why I'm asking that question, but, and I don't know that I have an answer. Because this element is our greatest challenge. This element of water that moves through us. If you think about the feelings that arise when we are dehydrated, when we are hangry. So for those of you that English is their first language, hangry means when you're hungry and angry. When you're hangry, you're also depleted of water. The absence of this element really doesn't bode well for our wellness of mind or anything. Shall we look? Let's look at another one. So one thing that's quite different. So when we're looking at a pip deck, we often get this kind of connection that is represented. Lily White does it this way with the nested bowls. 6, no matter how you slice it, right? It's a perfect number. Mathematically, it's a perfect number. Yes, there's that divider again. 3 and 3. 3 and 3. And so why do we not have, oh, this one. So why has Lori gone away from the energy of a river in this card? Why are we back to the blood? Is this his family and my family, her family and my family? 3 plus 3. Oh, this is so cool. When they send ships into space to search for life, one thing they look for is liquid water. Okay. Now here's something that Tarot de Marseille doesn't do. And that is we don't see ice or steam. Often in Waite Smith, we are looking at water in all of its forms. So that's something very unique about Tarot de Marseille. was looking at, maybe I'll pull it out when we get to the Eight of Cups, if I can find it. So just thought about that. I think that is really interesting. And it's more about the container and the concept of what is in the container than the element itself, maybe. Okay, I want to get out this Eight of Cups in this other deck today that I was reading within class, and just ask you a question or two about it. I like the sixes because there is so much that the number 6 represents. And again, this is where your experience with life, with everything, will inform your readings. Jennifer offers river dance. Love that. I love that. Can you think of how that, Jennifer, might apply to the idea of connection and families and the idea of the nested bowls or the nostalgia? I think there's an interesting paradox here. Yet something very solid grows between the 3 and the 3. These are not little leaves or little flowers. These are well developed. You know, there's great growth here. There's a real sense of form. There's a real sense of stability. Okay. Now, we did spend quite a bit of, when you're looking at the wands in the Tarot de Marseille, the odd numbers have a very different energy from the even numbers. And honestly, when I'm looking at the cups, the 2, the 4, the 6 have a different feeling to them. They feel very strong. And I think this is going to be interesting to look at, maybe, or reflect on, why do the odd numbers in the wands and the swords feel strong, and the even numbers in the cups and the pentacles feel strong? It's one of my observations, so I just want to put it out there for you. Okay. D. In J.M. David's book, which is a great book, by the way, the homeopathic tincture. This makes me think about the, I think, is it in the Tarot of the Holy Light, right? She refers to the soma. It contains the soma. It contains the magical nectar. Something going on here. Yeah. I don't have his book. I've read, a few pages online and listened to lots of people talk about it. I probably should get his book. Yeah. Okay. So Let's pause here, and then we can carry on and talk a little bit more about the suit of the cups, suit of the cups, suit of the cups next week. And thank you all so much for these contributions. I think this is going to be a brilliant wandering. Yeah, really appreciate all of you. I want to wish you a lovely rest of your Saturday, and just know that I know I'm not broadcasting as much during the week, but I will have occasional pop-up readings and things like that, and I will do my best to get those thumbnails up as early as possible. And just to give you a heads up, I will, what time is that meeting? I will do new moon readings on February 9th live. I am home that day. I can't say exactly what time it's going to be. Maybe I can do it at 11 a.m., which is 1 hour earlier than I started this, but I will be broadcasting both Friday and Saturday next week. Okay. I want to just check in with what Dee said. The swords and wands are touching, but the cups don't. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. All right. So I'll see you next week. Take good care of yourselves. Namaste.